It is that time. What's going on, guys? It's me, Westtown HD. So, guys, we're here for another discussion, the follow-up discussion to our last Pokemon Sword and Shield presentation. And like last time, we are joined by Count Christo, Galost, Garden, Newtype, SF. Unfortunately, Rabbit Sensei couldn't join us today. He had some personal stuff to work out. But it's just us here today, and we'll be discussing the Pokemon Direct, giving our overall thoughts and whatnot. So, Chris, what do you think of that presentation there?
It was really cool. Honestly, I wasn't too excited about this game before, but this brought so many new things into my mind that's got me thinking about the game. I'd say most interested in the whole overworld thing, but the giant Pokemon is interesting too.
I can definitely attest to some of that. Some of the stuff here is a little wacky there. Claire, what did you think of the presentation?
I have similar feelings as Chris does. To be quite honest with you, I don't think I've enjoyed a Pokemon game thoroughly since Soul Silver.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Because for my whole life, it was kind of just a process of, oh, a new Pokemon game is out. I'm in 5th grade. Christmas time is coming up. I'm gonna buy the new Pokemon game. And they all led me to never finishing them. I would always get close, but I never finished them because then the next game would come around. So for the past few games, I didn't even think to buy them. I got Sun and Moon as a present without asking for it, and I didn't play very much of it. And Omega Ruby never really did anything for me, didn't play the sequel to Sun and Moon. So I wasn't going to buy this. But this presentation has made me want to, I'm happy to say. And I'm excited to play it with you guys, with the little co-op thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We got those raids on deck. It's about to be good. When I first saw those raids, I was like, they're bringing Pokemon Go integration into the main series. That's wild. Newtype, what were your initial impressions of the presentation there?
I thought it was pretty good. I'm actually very excited for this game, since I'm always curious about what wacky shenanigans Game Freak is going to put into the next Pokemon game, and it would never come to mind that they would just put in, look at just giant Pokemon. There you go. Dynamax, let's go.
Can we talk about how much of an absolute unit of a name that is, though? Dynamax?
Right.
Like, Mega Evolution, it didn't take me nearly as long to get used to. And then Z-moves I was never really on board with. But Dynamaxing, like, it has potential to be interesting, but also at the same time, I'm kind of still on the fence about it.
You know why it's easier for me to accept Dynamaxing so quickly? It's because in the Pokemon anime, there have been numerous giant Pokemon for no reason at all. They're just huge. Alakazam, Gengar, the Dragonite, that one episode of Claydol. And then suddenly, all things are finally answered.
Oh yeah, that's
Dynamax.
right. Yeah, I forgot about the giant tentacle that like wreaked havoc and blew up an entire resort, killing thousands. I remember.
It was in the opening, the first opening.
Oh yeah,
so right. all these answers or all these things are finally be answered with like, they were probably just Dynamaxed. And I think that's neat.
But so Newtype, so you're trying to tell me is that they've had Dynamax in mind since the very first generation.
Oh no, it was just that they were just huge, just cause. And they've always been Dynamax. Let's just ignore that.
Okay.
Go with it.
Okay, yeah, I can go along with that. But on top of this presentation, just to give my thoughts briefly, I'd say I'm pretty excited for this game. I know a lot of people have been talking about this would be the game to give us like a free-flowing camera, but I wasn't hearing any of that. I was like, there's no way Game Freak would do that, because like we said in our last discussion, like specific towns and whatnot really aren't meant to have a 3D camera. So the fact that like they're doing this now in specific areas is really great, and just the imagery they gave us of the trainer looking around and whatnot, like off into the distance and whatnot, that reminded me very much. It might just be the graphical style or just the Switch in general, but it reminded me a lot of Breath of the Wild. Just the way you got all that open field and whatnot, and it's just one beautiful horizon. There's Pokemon all over the place. It's beautiful, but moving on to our next topic. So they gave us a bunch of new Pokemon. Let me name all of them off. So we have Corviknight, Wooloo, I can't remember the other two names. Hold up, wait. Hold up, wait.
Dreadnought.
Yeah, there was Dreadnought. What was the name of the other two? There was the other two they had shown off. Not the legend. What were the name of the other two mons? So, Gossiflower. There was Gossiflower, Edelgoss, Wooloo, Corviknight, and Dreadnought. Now, it's kind of hard for me to place where I think we'll find these Pokemon, just because they all look super unique. Like, Corviknight looks way too badass to be, like, the starter bird on the route. Like, there is no way that's happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's an early game. You know what it could be? Is that they could be kind of tricking us, and it's actually like a late-term evolution. And so the Pidgey of this game or something
Evolves into that?
Yeah.
See,
everybody's haven't seen that yet.
I think it's more like Skarmory, where you find it kind of like in the middle of the game in some sort of like rocky area. I feel like you're gonna find it alongside the Dreadnought.
Yeah,
I'd-
probably.
Like the same general area.
Nothing against Skarmory, just as soon as I found out Skarmory, like, didn't do anything, I kind of tossed it away. Like, I'm really hoping they do more with this thing. At least give it, like, one evolution, maybe, like, a baby or, like, another evolution. I don't think it needs another evolution beyond this,
Nope.
but I think it could probably have a baby evolution of some sort. Because, I mean,
I don't think every Pokemon needs that evolution. I think this one's just fine on its own the way it is.
I mean, but, like, do you think they hatch out of eggs looking like that?
Yeah. He comes out the egg with a beard.
Comes out the egg with a beard. Wish I could relate. Overall,
I've never been
though,
a fan of like single evolution Pokemon. I like Pokemon with a little family.
It makes it more fun, in my opinion. You grow with the Pokemon that way.
that too, because if you just, like, for example, Drampa, I remember when I first found Drampa in 7th generation, I was like, you are something, but you're already old, and I don't want you on my team.
Rip Drampa.
I mean, he can learn fly. You know, Drampa can learn fly. He flies with his ears. In
Yeah,
the
he's like
anime,
the-
in the anime, he flies with his ears.
Yeah, he's
Oh
like
my
the dragon
God.
from Neverending Story.
That's so weird. Moving on, though, overall, Chris, just overall thoughts on the brand new Pokemon. Which one's your favorite?
I'm gonna say that little sheep. Was it Wooloo?
I think Wooloo was the name of the sheep. Yeah.
Ooh.
Bro, it's so cute. It's just so cute. I can't get over it. Like my edgy self also loves
Cute things.
the no, what is it? The
Corviknight.
Freaking bird. Corviknight, yeah. I really like that design too. So it's like my cute is satisfied with Wooloo, and my cool and edgy is satisfied by I already forgot it. Her name
Corviknight.
is Corviknight. It's gonna be hard for me to remember. I don't know why. But yeah, I liked everything that they've shown so far though. This game hasn't, well, I guess it's only been a couple, but so far I haven't been like, ugh, this Pokemon doesn't look like a Pokemon or something like that.
Okay. Newtype, what are your thoughts on the new Mons overall? Who's your favorite?
I would say Corviknight's my favorite because I always go for those edgy badasses. And I would say a close second to none would be also Dreadnought.
Okay, so
Mostly because he's a turtle. I like turtles.
now, okay, I can agree with you by saying Corviknight doesn't need to go further, but does Dreadnought look incomplete to you?
Yes.
Well, his shell, when you look at a picture of him from his profile, he looks kind of tiny. Like his head is too big for the rest of his body, so I think he could use a Torterra type evolution.
I think he's like Avalugg, which there's like the tiny one, and then there's the bigger evolution.
See, because people forget that Game Freak did blue ball us that one time with Torkoal.
Oh yeah.
I remember training Torkoal to level 50 and saying, why isn't it evolving? And then I found out it didn't. And then he didn't get a Mega Evolution. They didn't do anything with Torkoal.
He was just there.
I really hope it's not gonna be the case, but I love the name Dreadnought because it's kind of like, it sounds like Dreadnought, which was like a ship that the not the Russians, was it the English? Japanese. Was it Japanese?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, it was a ship used in old war times, and Dreadnoughts are one of my favorite boats. So if it was like a boat type, well, I don't know. I don't think it would evolve into a boat. I mean, what do you think? Probably just a big old turtle, a big old snapper turtle.
No, it's a tortoise. It just lives on land. It's a rock and steel type.
Oh, that's right. It's not even a water type. That's right. So I can stick Sobble Squad and still rock this man.
Yep.
True.
What about
I
you,
just want
Claire?
to say I just want to say that Corviknight weighs 165 pounds.
Uh,
How does that thing fly?
Steel. Steel.
there's a lot of
Steel
steel
is
types.
heavier
Well,
than
that's to be
feathers.
expected with this generation.
You don't question it, he just does.
Okay, so over the course of it, first I like Dreadnought because I always go for somewhat weird looking Pokemon, and his mouth just does it for me since it's just a big zigzag. I love it. So I like him. But also I like Eldegoss because I just love how big its head is. It's just like a big fluffy afro.
Yeah, it's Mirror
and
B.
Stop. Don't.
I like. I love thinking of Jijinka designs for Pokemon, so I immediately thought of in Austin Powers 3 how Beyonce is in it.
Oh,
And she has a giant rockin' afro, and you could totally do like a British 1970s club Jijinka with that Pokemon. And I'm
Or
gonna
Mirror
do it,
B.
nobody steal it.
Where do you think you got the idea from? He's totally
So-
from the UK.
So yeah, those are my favorites, and of course, I like all of these designs, but I don't know, those two stuck out to me. And now Wooloo is getting shoved down my throat, but a lot of these times I don't go for the Pokemon that are new. Maybe one or two, but you see them so often in the game that it becomes like
Kind of stale.
non-unique to have them on your team. Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of almost choose like the ones that are returning most times, just because you know you like them, whatnot, this and that, and they're not as normally as common in the game as the new Pokemon that are being forced down your throat, kind of thing.
Yeah, and also I like weird things like the garbage Pokemon. He's my favorite.
Trubbish?
So yeah.
I name all
So-
my Trubbish
Shadows
waifu.
Trubbish. Wow.
All right, to move into our next topic. So they gave us what are called the wild areas, which are areas kind of in between cities. I don't think every single route in the game is going to be classified a wild area, but it seems like some of them just big, vast open fields, lakes, ponds, you name it. They got everything in there. They got Pokemon walking around the overworld, but it seems like you can still encounter Pokemon in the grass. So it's kind of a best of both worlds. They got dynamic weather. They got a day-night cycle. They've brought back everything. You can have sandstorms, snowy areas, and whatnot. And depending on the weather, you'll encounter different Pokemon. On top of that, your bike can now go over lakes. So HMs no longer, like, HMs are gone. We are never seeing HMs again. You can bike across the ocean now. My man is pedaling a bike across the ocean with a smile on his
Go
face.
Kento.
Cannot relate. Okay. Overall, though, Chris, what do you think of these new wild areas?
Yo, they're so cool. Like, I thought the dream was dead when we saw the first trailer.
I
and They
know.
didn't show us anything like that because they were only in the cities. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna get, just not that I hate, like the traditional top-down Pokemon style or whatever, because I love that. I love classic RPGs. But I'm like, we're on the Switch. We have all this new technology. Do something different. Do something interesting. And I'm like, when I saw this, it just blew my mind. I'm like, thank God. We can move the camera. We can walk around. It looks like Breath of the Wild. You can shake trees and look at Pokemon flying everywhere. It looks like even more interesting than Let's Go. Like, it's way more. The Pokemon seem way more
Interesting,
like
unique,
a part
of the
interesting,
environment.
unique, like a part of their environment. Yeah, than anything in Let's Go Pikachu.
Well,
So
see,
it's
with
just
Let's
super
Go,
cool.
they were kind of trying to make it like a Go game, so it's just kind of, they pop up, they don't do anything, you catch them, move on.
Yeah,
But here it seems like they're actually, like, you can see like hordes and flocks and whatnot of Pokemon. Like, you can see them like actually like being a family and whatnot. And they had the Rotom feature in Sun and Moon where you could take pictures of Pokemon. I hope you can do something to that extent in this game.
Earlier on, they showed like a Rotom phone, so there might be something.
Rotom
similar to it.
smartphone, bro.
Yeah, it was weird.
It also, it seems like the Rotom smartphone is what makes it so you can ride your bike on the thing. Like on their website, they said like the Rotom phone upgrades your items and stuff like that. Something like that.
Bro, how come? Yeah, where do I download the bicycle app on my phone?
Actually, one interesting thing about the water bike that I noticed is while the character was riding over the lake, you saw my low tick, which means it might actually be catchable.
Instead of having to get a feedback
to like
and
do
try
this
to make it
weird
love
thing
you.
with Feebas, yeah.
How did you? I never understood. No, you have to make it feel beautiful. I never
No,
understood.
you have to like at first in like 3rd gen you have to like max out his beauty, which is like a contest stat.
Yeah, and they took
And
contest
then later
away.
on you have to give it an item and then trade it.
What? It was a trade evolution at one point.
I think so. Yeah.
See, I always just had my Lodex. I never messed around with Feebas. I never really knew how to legitimately do it. I mean, because like their contests, of course, were in the remakes, but contests have been really gone. So like the whole beauty aspect and relying on a feature in the game that you need to evolve them on, and then removing that feature, it was like, how does you? Can I not just love you and make you evolve? Like,
No.
Oh
you
yeah,
gotta make
I
it
just
beautiful.
looked it up. Yeah, it was a trade thing with a prism scale when you couldn't do it by leveling up with high beauty. That was the other way to do it.
really? So yeah,
That's interesting.
if we do find just my Lodic chilling when we're on our bicycles, I'd take that.
I would totally catch a Milotic for my team.
That'd be cool. The crazy evolution requirements are like one of my favorite things in Pokemon.
Bro,
Nothing will ever beat that squid Pokemon.
NK,
where you
I was
turn
just
your
about to talk
3DS
about that.
upside down.
My mom did not believe me. She's like, it won't evolve. I said, Mom, turn your 3DS upside down. She's like, no, there's no way it started evolving. She was like, what the heck? I was like, yeah. Can you imagine trying to play X and Y and trying to figure out how to? Because I don't think they drop hints in the game of having to tilt your entire screen upside down. How are you? Are you gonna have to do it?
Well, there was Salazzle where like, hey, it can only evolve if it's female.
Oh man.
At least they kind of let you know about that one in the story.
In the Pokedex, it was like, yeah, it's got a reverse harem, and the males don't evolve. And you're like, oh, I'm sure that's just a myth. And you're like, why is it level 58? So, Newtype, what are your thoughts on the wild areas there?
I think they look great, but I'm not sure if they're gonna like make it so that you transition to one area smoothly, or it's gonna be like a quick load and then you're in it.
I mean,
that's something they showed off.
I think oh, you mean like just when you're like between areas, or just the actual field itself?
Like when you're like walking from one area to another, and then there's just like there's like no load and you just go into it.
Oh, kind of like how like the worlds are always loaded, like when you play like an RPG like Xenoblade or Zelda, like there's never loading screens in between getting into towns, kind of thing.
Yeah, unless you're going to like a building or something.
I think with the Switch's hardware, they could more than do that, especially since the graphics this time around aren't all that intensive. I'm not gonna go into the nitpicking I was doing in my reaction because I'll be here all night. But long story short, it looks like they're still using the Sun and Moon engine with very little upscaling. So I feel like they could more than do that. It's just a matter of will they do that, because like the in-between route spots have always been like a hot spot for like professors' aides or like police officers to talk, just people in general, NPCs to talk to. It's been kind of a staple for the last few generations. I don't think they've ever. I guess that could just be for the technical limitations.
Other than that, everything looks great. I love the wild Pokemon. They feel natural in the area, unlike Let's Go, since it was just a product of the time, and they just had to like put it in there just for their like specific gimmick. Other than that, it's great. I love it.
All right, what do you think, Claire?
Like what you were saying earlier regarding Breath of the Wild, I really think that ever since the release of Breath of the Wild, Nintendo knows now that they have to do the transformation they did with The Legend of Zelda with every single one of their IPs. So this will be Pokemon's transformation into this new engine with 3D. I don't know what that means. I guess it's not 3D. It's not a 3DS. Open world capabilities is what I mean to say.
Go with that, yeah.
Yeah. And so I got the exact same feeling as you did. Wow, the possibilities seem endless, even though I'm sure it won't be as in-depth as Breath of the Wild was, but maybe we'll get there in time. It's a step in the right direction. Similar to what you guys were saying, as long as there's no quick load, I would love for it to be seamless, but that would really break it for me if when you walk, through a gate or through some bushes and then all of a sudden there's just a little blip and then it loads in. I wouldn't like that. So hopefully there's none of that. Other than that, though, this is really what did it for me, for making me want to get the game. Because when X and Y came out, I remember thinking, oh wow, open world Pokemon, incredible! This is real open world Pokemon. And maybe not even at that, but again, it's like a big jump from what I thought they could ever do, and that's really great to see.
Is it bad that as soon as I saw this presentation, and that as soon as they confirmed they were going to have 3D cameras in certain areas, I was like, Gen 4 remakes can't come soon enough?
Please, please,
so
I'm
good.
starving.
I really
I'm
hope, because
sorry.
I have a theory that they'd use the Let's Go engine, but retain the stuff they have here, more so that they don't have to do 3D camera and keep it faithful to the original. But because with Gen 4, it's like the routes are already there, and there wasn't, aside from the lakes, there really wasn't very vast areas in Gen 4 for 3D cameras to work. But a man can dream. Just to give my thoughts on the wild areas really quick. Walking Pokemon, oh, such a plus. I really hope that Pokemon will follow you in this game, just like Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Because
I think it's confirmed that they don't.
They don't?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
I think so.
Because if they have all these models, I mean,
Yeah, it'd be kind of sad, but
because
I don't know.
at this point, I'm sure they do have like walking models for every single Pokemon in the game.
You know, I feel like I'm the only one who just doesn't care about that.
See, it's just one of those things where it's cool just to see all their different animations.
Like it's cool to see, but I'm
Yeah.
just like, eh.
My
Doesn't
first,
matter.
I love having my Pokemon with me. It's the coolest thing. It's one of the few
It's a
things I
bond.
like. Go, you know, it's cool.
I just loved how and then in like Let's Go, if your Pokemon is small enough, they just ride on you.
Mm-hmm.
That was really dope. I just loved how a Alolan Sand Slash in Let's Go would just roll around to the speed of sound. My man, every time you was walking, my man would just curl up into a ball and just follow you. That was a really nice change. It's just one of those quality of life changes where it just adds more to the world. And I assume ride Pokemon are coming back, because you'll probably be able to fly like a Charizard through these fields or something to that extent, if I'm being honest. And over
Well,
like,
you got a phone, right? So you just call Pokemon.
oh, you
Uber.
right? Hey, yo, Charizard, come here for a minute, bud.
Uber.
Yo, Rodon, call me an Uber.
Dynamic weathering is something I did not expect. So with dynamic weathering,
Right.
is it just like the areas? It's just one specific area that's limited to that weather condition, or is it any area has a chance to have that weather?
I think in the trailer they showed the same area with different weather, because it had that same
Same feel
bridge
to it?
looking thing in the background.
Okay, yep.
So I think it was the same area, and so that it was like randomly generated wherever the weather would be, or something.
Because
You
I can see
You know, it'd be
like
actually cool if you had a Pokemon that could cause a weather effect and you use it in that area, it would happen in the
that
overworld.
could be so cool.
Gosh,
Rotom-
That way you can make like specific Pokemon spawn and not like wait for the thing to
Not
like,
wait for the RNG.
yeah.
Mhm.
But now, see, a lot of these weather conditions I can see, like rain, snow, summer, like all that stuff I can
Because of
understand.
sandstorm.
But sandstorm, I don't understand. Where's the sandstorm come from? Is this Rhydon like a venturing horde? Does he bring sandstorms everywhere he goes?
Sorry, Tyranitar just can't turn it off.
Yeah, just
Yeah, yeah.
wherever the Tyranitar goes.
Imagine
it
if you go. Imagine this: like you heard there's been a sandstorm in the area, and you run into the sandstorm. And at the center of the sandstorm is a Tyranitar, and every time you encounter a sandstorm around the region, you find a Tyranitar at the center of it.
That'd be cool.
Because that would at least bring some lore to the fact that, hey, this is a beautiful field. Where'd all the sand come from? This makes no sense.
I mean, they showed off the hippo Pokemon.
That too,
Hippowdon.
Oh, right.
Hippowdon,
Evo.
I think it also has a Sandstream.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it does.
Also, it's a Gen 4 Pokemon, so.
Hippowdon.
Charmina.
Okay. Did you guys hear those people? So you know like how they've been showing off like different like mining areas in the presentations?
Yeah.
So people have been thinking and speculating that those mining areas are the underground from Gen 4. Do you guys think that's the case?
Yeah.
Really?
Could be.
So I don't really care about that if that's true. Because I don't know, they'd have to really change it up for me to be interested in that again, because it worked when that was going on and I was 10 years old. Because
Right.
that was the first time I had ever played a game that had online multiplayer capabilities, but I was also very wowed by PictoChat. So like
You're
they
right,
have
you're
to
right.
do something really different. In Omega Ruby, it didn't do it for me.
See, the bases in Omega Ruby were cool, but they didn't really. You would just kind of like put one in a wall, remember it's there, come back every now and then, check up on it, and move on. But like with the fossils, it was like a place where, or the underground rather, it was a place where you and your friends could all meet up and just run around and like set traps and mine for fossils and get like it had kind of more to it. And I mean, of course, if they did local only for multiplayer on this, it would be terrible. I mean, it originally was local multiplayer. This would definitely have to be an online thing. But can you imagine if like a streamer got like 80 people underground? Because I think the capacity was something like, I think it was 25 on the DS. It's just no one ever got that many people together that had the games. So if they were to bring that online, that would be dope. Okay.
We'll see what happens.
So they also revealed max raid battles, which is basically you find a giant pillar in the sky, you go to that pillar in the sky, you find 3 other snobs, you talk to them, you're like, hey, I want a Pokemon, you want a Pokemon, let's all get this Pokemon. And then y'all drop, your trainers all do a cool victory pose, you all send out your Mons, you battle it up, you weaken it, one person walks away with a giant Pokemon, you never talk to each other again. It sounds pretty cool on paper. Newtype, how you feeling?
So does only one person get the Pokemon?
Actually, I could be wrong. I think it's only one person can delta texturized thing. Dynamax.
Okay, so all for themselves then.
It'd be kind of lame if only one person got the Pokemon. If it's like a raid battle in Pokemon Go, everyone has a chance to get it, but not everyone.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain I was just incorrect, and it was just only one person can use a Dynamax Mega Evolution during that fight. Yeah. So you have to nominate someone, but everyone gets them on, I believe.
It looks cool. Can't wait to see more. Can't really say much on it since I mean raid battles are pretty awesome, but from what we saw, it looks okay. I probably won't use it much if it's not like a main feature though.
See, the thing is though, I feel like it might be because you need to be able to Dynamax on your first gym fight, presumably. And
yeah, but I just assumed Dynamaxing you can always do it, but for like raid battles, like
see, because that is a good point because it did show a Dynamax Grookey, and that would presumably be your starter Pokemon. So can you just Dynamax any Mon? Because then what's the point of getting the special Dynamax Mon? So they have stronger levels, better IVs, kind of thing. Maybe they have a chance to be shiny. Like what's the incentive here to Dynamax fight aside from hey, it looks fun?
I'm not sure. Maybe you can only Dynamax in a gym fight anyone, but other than that, you have to get a special Dynamaxable Pokemon.
Bro, okay, can you imagine?
Or maybe your starters just come
pre-Dynamax.
So then will the higher evolutions be able to Dynamax?
Probably. Yeah, I don't think so.
Or can like any Pokemon Dynamax, or just like a specific few?
Yeah, that's what we don't know.
Bro,
yeah, it's not clear.
You know my man Youngster Joey about to run up with his Dynamax Rattata.
Bro.
Can you imagine? So that also brings up another
rat.
Another question though, like, will Dynamaxing be limited only to those battles? Because if you're just out in a cave and you Dynamax in a cave against a random trainer, everyone's dying.
Cave in.
I think probably it'll be like Mega Evolution.
See, I'm really hoping for a Dynamax Wailord because I want to see the size of that. Just take up the entire, just drop Wailord on the planet and see what happens.
I think it would just be the size of that stadium.
Absolute unit.
See, Newtype, I think Wailord's already the size of that stadium, though.
I mean, Wailord's pretty big, but I don't think it's as big as that stadium.
And can you Dynamax a Omega Kyogre, Alpha Kyogre?
Okay. Please. Can you Dynamax in a Lowland Executor?
I saw those memes.
I was about to say, you know how like in 7th Gen, there was the Totem Pokemon. They're like bigger versions of like regular Pokemon you can encounter.
Yep.
What if you Dynamax that?
Bro, they should not have given us as many options.
You remember the end of Gurren Lagann when they got like the really big drill and they were like bigger, bigger, like that with your Pokemon.
And then they started whipping around galaxies. Oh, Chris, you'll never let me forget that. Oh, that is great. What?
I'm surprised Claire didn't say something.
I'm surprised Claire didn't say anything either.
That's like your favorite anime.
It's also my favorite anime.
Because I was busy looking at pictures of Leon.
Okay, Claire, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay.
I got a little distracted there. Sorry, guys.
So, Chris, how do you feel about the max raid battles? What are your thoughts on it? Do you like it? Do you not like it?
I think I want to know more about it. All the questions that we brought up have me just curious about how interested I am in it, like what will be the draw to do it. I think Dynamaxing is interesting. It seems like a fun gimmick, but I don't know if it's actually will be that interesting once I'm like playing the game, how much I'll be interested in the whole concept.
I mean, when it came to Z moves, because I wasn't too interested in them, I just basically started using them as a means to end battles quicker. I wasn't really enjoying using them. It was just kind of this is kind of what I need to do kind of thing.
Same.
Hoping Dynamaxing isn't the same, but what do you think, Claire?
I like the max raid battles, but I don't like Dynamaxing. So I wish that the max raid battle wasn't just for a large Pokemon, if it could be something special, like a type of Pokemon that you could only get during the raid battles, which I would assume that's what they're going to do. Like they'll put a Pokemon that you can't get anywhere else in the game, but meaning...
I mean, that's how they do it in Pokemon Go, so it would make sense if they did it in this game.
Yeah, but...
Pokemon Go, it's Pokemon you can't catch normally.
Meaning maybe they'd have a handful of designs that they create that's just for these raid battles, and they would put a new one out every few months or so, and they'd announce it. Be like, from this time to this time, if you play the game, you can get this Pokemon, and as of now, it's the only place where you can get it. Not a legendary, but just like a new design. That would make me want to do it.
That's
So-
interesting, because that
okay.
is how they do it in Pokemon Go, but it'd be interesting to bring that kind of concept to a main Pokemon game, where it's like,
Yeah.
it's an event, a limited time event that you got to do.
Yeah, or maybe
And
if
play
it
with
was
other people.
location-based. Like, come to your local GameStop, do the raid battle, and you'll get
Well,
this
then-
Pokemon.
Then that's literally just Pokemon Go.
I mean,
Just do Pokemon Go.
Just play Pokemon Go.
Game Freak's just gonna be like, okay, we need your Pokemon Go and then Pokemon Sleep, and no in between.
That's it. And with the Dynamaxing, as soon as I saw it, it reminded me of Super Training.
Oh, yeah.
From X and Y, how there would be a giant blow up
Pokemon?
caterpillar guy.
Yep.
Yeah,
forgot
and
about
I
that.
thought about how lame that was, and how much I hated Super Training, and how I never did it. So to me, I'm never gonna use it. I never used Z moves. I didn't care about that, and I don't care about this either, because it's just silly, and I don't get it.
See, what I think is silly is that whenever we go see the next Pokemon tournament after this game's out, they're gonna have to Dynamax. You get one Dynamax, you get one Mega Evolution, you get one Z move on top of everything else you gotta micromanage. Oh, and on top of that, you can also Rayquaza can Mega Evolve without holding an item. So there's that, and I also
Dynamax Rayquaza? Mm-hmm.
and then I
Mega
think Kyogre and Groudon just automatically turn into their forms if they hold their orbs. Like I don't think you need the actual.
Yep, if they're holding your item, as soon as you send them out, they transform.
So basically, every team's gonna be packing a Kyogre or a Groudon, a Dynamaxmon, a Z-Movemon, a Megamon that gives you 2 spots to be wild. But aside from that, the Pokemon meta, they are adding so much to this. It's why I'm still kinda on the fence.
That's why when we were talking earlier during the live reaction or after the live reaction about how I just want them to get rid of Mega Evolution and Z moves for this game. I just think having so many gimmicks is too much.
I mean, I feel like they're inadvertently making what they keep marketing as a kids game more complicated.
Yeah, it's too much.
Can we get Dynamin where we can turn Pokemon even smaller?
Bro.
What if you what's the word again? Dynamonize? Dynamax. What if you Dynamax your Pokemon and then you use Minimize? What happens? These are the
important questions.
These are the questions Game Freak don't want us to know.
Well, you can always say Dynamax for like 3 turns or something like that, so I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Actually, that's a good question. If a Pokemon Dynamaxes and they raise their evasion, how are you missing?
I just like to imagine they're just flash stepping the entire time and you can't hit them. They're just really
Can you imagine
fast.
a Dynamaxing Pokemon like quick attacking?
You actually hit my after image.
All right, if you guys have nothing else left to say on Max Raid Battles, we're gonna move on now to the new characters. Claire, how would you love to tell us about Leon?
I would like to very much.
Oh no.
So, all I can say is that when I was younger, I used to get so excited about these characters when I was watching E3 and whatnot. And then, for the past few years, I haven't really felt that fangirl thirst, immediate thirst. I have to go tweet about it right now.
But Kukui.
That's true, but I didn't tweet about him.
Oh, okay.
This guy, I don't know, man. He looks like he's such an idiot. I love him. His design is so stupid. He's got this cap on, the snapback that has the crown on it. He's got his sponsors on the back of his cape. He's wearing shorts and pants at the same time. What's wrong with him? I love him.
Legend.
It just reminded me of a tweet from a few days ago where people were saying, how come Shane Dawson keeps wearing shirts with like visible holes in them? That's not cute. And he replied, that's what I wear to bed. I'm sorry I'm not wearing designer clothing like everyone else. I at least have a soul, something along those lines. And it made me think of him, like he's wearing stupid clothing, and he would probably say that, like, excuse me, I'm not like the other guys. But what interests me about him is I have a feeling that his storyline will be along the lines of nobody has ever told him anything else but yes. He's surrounded by yes men, and he's never lost a Pokemon battle. And his storyline with the character is going to be that he's going to learn that younger people are going to one-up him. And he's probably going to be super friendly and super funny, but he has this like dumb narcissism to him that he doesn't even realize he's so narcissistic, but it's there and everybody else sees it. So I'm hoping that they'll have some sort of a rapport going on, because there's never really been that type of relationship between the former champion and us, the new champion, that has lasted for more than like a 5-minute long cutscene, you know. So if it's the whole game long, that would be cool. Through Hop, our new rival, I'm excited for that.
All right. Okay. So Claire clearly had a lot to say about our boy Leon there. Arguably
I've been
so.
thinking about him.
He's a cool guy. All right. Now I'll turn the mic over to Chris there. Chris, tell us about Sonya. Tell the people about Sonya.
Oh boy, listen.
Okay, tell us. Go on.
Sonya, they knew what they were doing. The hair twirl, the eyes. There was a tweet I saw literally the other day that it's like girls with eyes like this, and it's her eyes. She's got the wings, she's got the look, and it's just like the immediate response and the art that's come right away. She's so cute. And she looks cool. I like that. I enjoy the whole English aesthetic going on. Like her raincoat that she has, her boots, her satchel. It's all cool, and she's just rad. So I don't know what else to say. Other than that, she's really cool, and I'm glad that everyone's drawing art of her and people love her.
Bro, there was art of her not even 5 minutes after the presentation was done.
It was crazy.
Bro, I swear they have entire companies working on this stuff, watching these presentations. There ain't no way.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know exactly.
Speaking of Sonya, I feel like I'm in the very small minority and say that she is okay.
Oof.
I don't see what's special. There might be, like, I can see it, but I'm just not that attracted to her. I like Leon. I like what Claire said. He looks like an idiot, and I can't help but love him. But with Sonya, she's there for me.
Okay, all right. Respect. That's fair.
respect it.
That's fair. Newtype, I'll turn the mic over for you though to defend your boy Hop, because if I talk about Hop, we're gonna be here all night of me ripping Mr. Hop. So
Listen.
I'll let you talk about. Go ahead, tell us about Hop.
Listen.
Talk defend your
Hop,
man.
low key, I look like Hop. Okay.
Okay, all right. You got them Yeezys. You got the gyms. Okay.
I feel like Hop's storyline is going to be like he can never live up to the legend of his older brother, and that he will be constantly failing and will always looking to succeed. He's essentially a better Hal from Generation 7. And honestly, I love his style, where he actually kind of looks cool, unlike his derpy older brother. And yeah, that's about it.
I like that he looks like. I love his pose in the artwork. He looks like such a dork. It's
That
pretty dope.
entire family is dorky. That's why Iris fits in with them, because they all dorky.
True. Oh
He
my
seems
god.
to have the best storyline that I can remember from any of the rivals. And I'm excited to see, because it seems like they're upgrading everything, as I was saying earlier, making it like the new Breath of the Wild of Pokemon. Maybe they'll have some sort of good dialogue regarding Hop's struggle of wanting to be like his brother, but not always working out. But he still loves him, and Leon really loves him too. You know, it'd be nice.
On
You
that, on that topic,
I think hold on. I think I see a twist with this, where like, when you're in the Elite Four, you just go through all your challenges, and you're prepared to fight his older brother. But then at the throne, you see Hop, who has already defeated his brother.
Isn't
And I
that,
think
isn't
that
that
would be,
that-
I think that would be really dope.
They did that
with Blue?
Yeah, but they also did that with Sun and Moon.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
you fighting for the throne, since no one has actually.
Yeah,
claimed
that
it
was,
yet.
they did a
Oh.
league title defense every time you went to the Elite Four. It was a different champion, because you were up there taking challenges.
Yeah, you were
This
just sitting,
one, the
essentially
first
just
time
sitting
you
there taking
went.
challenges.
I think the first time
I
you
could've
go
sworn-
there though, you fight either I think you either fight Hao or Kukui.
It was in Sun and Moon. It was Hal. No, in Sun and Moon it was Kukui, and then in the other one it's Hal.
Ultra Sun, Ultraman, right?
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you get up there, he's like, "Oh, how'd you guys here before me?"
Sorry, but this chair is mine. I'm already planning to warm it up.
See, y'all were talking about though how like they have like this friendly brother relationship, and I got thinking about Itachi and Sasuke Uchiha.
No,
No,
it's not gonna be that
Hear me
serious.
out.
We're not
Hear
gonna
me
do
out.
Naruto.
No.
Now, my man's gonna off the entire family, and my man's gonna look at him like, "Why did you do it?" He's gonna be like, "To test my power." And then all of a sudden, it's just all gonna go down. That's off a tangent.
not
Chris,
gonna
you wanted
be-
to talk about something real quick?
I was gonna say off of what Claire was saying. I just want to say
About Leon?
I'm gonna call you out, Claire. She sent me a message.
What's that?
She said Sasuke has a brother.
All this time I must have just been thinking, oh, he has like 2 outfits.
What?
That's cool.
You don't
Oh,
know
you thought
about
he-
Sasuke's better half?
I've never seen an episode of Naruto.
Okay, that's fair then.
We've talked about it, and I told her it's not worth it.
Sasuke and cooler Sasuke.
Sasuke, true. But what I was actually going to talk about was earlier when Claire was talking about dialogue and character and making things being upgraded, whatever like that. Have you guys heard about the theory that this game is going to be voice acted?
I have heard that. And
Because-
a lot of the lip actions you'll see, they didn't have text bubbles to them. Maybe they didn't want to hide it from us, but
Yes,
it looks
exactly.
like it could.
I mean,
Exactly.
it also have been like they didn't want to spoil any story moments.
That's true, but like there's just so much lip movement in this game, and there's finally, for the first time, there's emotion in people's faces, and the 3D models, they emote. So
You know,
I think they finally got the technology up for
We
Having
have
people talk.
technology.
You know,
Yeah.
I hope there is like voice acting, but instead of like regular voices, it's just like Star Fox gibberish.
I need Animal Crossing.
I'd seen someone that's saying like they would really like it if they did similar to like how Fire Emblem does it, or an Awakening, like how it would just say like the important line, like just a few little words, like a little flavor text, just like or a grunt or something like that, or just something just to give it a little bit more emotion.
Yeah, but then Milo speaks and he has like a really deep voice.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I mean, I don't think they'd go
That'd be
fully
hilarious,
voiced. I
though.
mean, I think we might get to a time and point where Pokemon gets fully voiced, but there's a lot of dialogue in these games.
Yeah, maybe they'll want to test it out. I mean, I think of the difference between Fire Emblem Echoes and Awakening, and I do like Fire Emblem Awakening's kind of how they did the voices, and I think it's better than nothing. But having a full voice acted game is just so much better, I think.
I mean, I think like the good way for them to start it off, like by demoing it, would be just to voice the mainline story mode quests and maybe like your rival
Sure.
and whatnot. But like voicing every single trainer you saw, every single NPC, that'd be a bit of a
they're
task.
not gonna do that
They wouldn't do that, no.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wouldn't expect them to.
unless youngster Joey says, "Hey, wear shorts."
Bro, and
That's
you know
the
what's
only
great?
one I don't want.
You know what's great about this? Because this is the first Pokemon game in the UK, so they could all have accents.
Oh no. It just be Xenoblade.
Oh, yeah, you right.
Oh wow.
Xenoblade
Right.
is the for some reason it's like the British Nintendo, I don't know, universe.
I'm pretty sure they started off as like Australian almost, and then they just kind of migrated.
Mm.
And then in Chronicles X, they
Almost.
were just Americans. I mean,
Australians are from Europe.
okay, so there's only one character left to talk about. We already talked about Milo. I mean, we didn't need to talk about Milo.
The best character in this game.
Milo's something.
Milo's best character?
We'll leave Milo out of this. He's in a tier list all of his own. But your boy is gonna be defending best girl here, Magnolia. Let me tell y'all how about our girl. Okay, she rocking that purple thing on her head. Okay,
Sonia's grandmother.
She got the hair. Okay, she's not only is she the professor of the Pokemon world in this timeline, bro. She's the professor of me. All right. She got that crutch.
We're not gonna talk about
She
her.
got those glasses. She got the necklace, bro. What that necklace do though? All right. This professor out here looking. She got Magnolia wood. That's not the only wood she got.
The idea is that when you really look into it, it's showing not only us, but kids. I always talk about the younger generation playing video games, so I'm sorry, that seems like every point goes to that. But some kids may look at that and say, wow, this lady likes Pokemon and she's old. You know, like, I can like Pokemon when I'm old too. So that's why I like it a lot.
I mean, there was Professor Oak.
I'd
He's
say
kinda old.
Professor Rowan.
Yay.
Oh, I'd say
I mean, there's Rowan, too.
I'd say, do we have more older ones than younger ones?
There was Agatha from the first gen. She was an Elite Four member.
Oh no, I mean like I think professors, right?
Oh.
I just feel like a grandma character is easier for children to connect to versus like a 60-year-old guy who's like, oh,
fair
my
enough.
uncle.
I thought you were gonna bring
weird
bring up the Chad Kukui.
The Chad Kukui.
Versus the Virgin
Milo.
Birch.
I'd say Professor
The Virgin Milo.
Elmer Birch. They were completely useless to everything.
Yeah, they are so forgettable.
Top 3 least relevant professors. But now if we're all set then, we'll talk about the legendary Pokemon real quick, just to give my thoughts. I am mixed, honestly. I don't know if I like the concept of a Pokemon having something constantly in its mouth. How my brother eat? How you doing that?
He
Their
swallows
name-
the sword and then spits it back out.
Oh,
Easy.
you're right. Do you guys remember what their names were?
Zacian and Zam something.
They were super
Zagamanetsu or
obscure.
something.
Yeah.
It was
Zantensuken.
something like that.
No, not that. That's from Final Fantasy.
Never mind then. Something like that. But overall, the Pokemon, I'd say I'm still going with sword.
It's Zacian and Zamazenta.
Yeah.
I will not ever remember those, even when I'm playing the game.
Bro, the name's gonna be on stream. Like, I can't remember your name, bro. It's just. I remember when I first said Zamazenta. My reaction spoke for itself. Zamazenta. Someone at Game Freak said Zamazenta. That's a name kids will love. That's a name kids will remember. That's great. I don't know. I like its name, but how does it fit through doors?
You kind of go in like sideways or like back. I don't know.
Oh, so there's like a gif of a dog trying to get a big stick through a door, and it keeps on smacking its head against the door frame until it turns its head and walks in. That's what these dogs are doing.
can't even unsay it. The first thing I thought of though when I saw Zacian was I was like, you look like that Dark Souls dog, and you look like a Materasu from Okami.
It's true.
So thing with
My first thought was a dog from Metal Gear Solid 5, but basically it's just a dog with a knife, which is for some reason really popular in video games.
There's a lot of dogs with knives in their mouth, and everybody was like, we can do it better.
I want a good boy that protects. That's why Zamazinton's my boy. Actually, personally speaking, I actually kind of really do like these designs.
I really like him too. I love Zacian. I just think it's so cool to have a dog with a sword. That's it's neat. And I mean,
I always wanted a Pokemon that could just stab me.
Same.
Just turn around, just my bad.
Bro, this is a dog. This is a Pokemon that can commit seppuku. What more could you want? It
I
just
brought
has
this daughter
the
to my
option.
trainer.
That's a dark way of looking at it. Oh man, I really hope its Pokedex entry is like it has a long history of cutting its owners in half by accident.
Something.
That'd be messed up. Though, Claire, what do you think of these legendaries?
I like that they're dogs. I like that I was right. Secondly, I think they look a little bit too similar. I know that, there's like black Kyurem and white Kyurem. Are those the right names? I don't remember those names either.
Yeah, Kyurem Black,
right?
Kyurem White.
Okay. See that? Those are
I
so
never liked
forgettable.
those,
Anyway, so
Those
they're a little bit like that. A bit better because of the obvious somewhat changes with, the shield face and the sword in my mouth all the time. But I've never really been a fan of like having the legendaries on my team or anything. I never do that. So it really doesn't make a difference to me anyway. I'll just kind of get them and put them in my PC and that's that. So ultimately it doesn't make a difference to me because they're not going to be a big part of my personal game experience.
When it comes to me personally, though, when it comes to like using legendaries for a playthrough, like first generation, you couldn't use that. Well, I guess you could get the legendary birds before the Elite Four, but they really weren't that worth it because legendary birds were kind of weak. I mean, in first gen they were good, but second generation, I think I liked using legendaries in second gen during the Elite Four just because they gave them to you at a level to where your team was around that level as well, so it was easy just to mesh them in.
Yeah.
I remember getting Rayquaza in Generation 3, my man's level 70 when you got 50s, and you're like, bro, what? And then just Master Ball and run. But overall, it's like,
kind of like the challenge.
if I really like the Legendary, I'll use them. I can't remember the last time I didn't use a Legendary on my team for the main game. Aside from...
I used Lunana in the last game.
Yeah.
Mostly because, Ultra Necrozma.
Oh yeah, Ultra Necrozma, the savior, was way too broken. Thing took entire lives.
What was his move? The light that burns the sky?
Something like that, and it would just... I swear it was a one-hit KO move. I never saw it not kill. That entire...
It just hit you so hard.
I'm on the fence about them still. I'm interested to see what the third legendary or other part of this trio is going to look like. We all know it's going to be
From
a
the
gun.
looks of it, like the third one might actually be evil instead of like trying to like separate them. Like a Rayquaza, Groudon, Kyogre.
Right. I want to talk about that. The secret third one or whatever. That's
So
interesting.
you mean kind of like how Giratina was like, I'm mad at everyone, everything must die.
Yeah.
In the trailer, I might just be stretching here, but you notice how they both like look at each other's eyes and then put each other to each other's backs and then like attack. So they might have been jumped by the third legendary. That could just be speculation.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't really think Zygarde had anything to do with Xerneas and Yveltal. I think Zygarde was just kind of like nah,
Zygarde was just kind of there.
My man was a tree
Yeah.
hugger. So aside from the obvious Pokemon gun choice, real quick, what do you guys think the third legendary could be, judging off these guys?
God.
I want a big snake. I want a big snake.
Basilisk, that could work.
Well,
I don't
the
care.
three weapons: sword, shield, and snake.
I kind of want it to be a third dog, and then they can all combine together to make a giant Cerberus.
Oh, actually, although it'd be kind of boring, I think, to have 3 dogs. That idea sounds really cool as well.
I mean, they could hunt as a wolf pack.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
You're like,
I changed my
this is
mind.
boring. Wait, this is awesome.
At first, when I first saw these mons, I was like, y'all look like you need to combine into something or combine with, or like you guys,
Get tied.
I don't know, just
They
something
do.
looked unfinished to me personally. But I can definitely see them standing alone.
It'll definitely be interesting.
Giving our final thoughts though on the box arts now, we have the sword and shield logos. Overall, I'd say they're all right. They're not great, but they're better than the Fire Emblem Three Houses box arts.
I think it's kind of boring, to be honest.
That's true, but yeah, they're boring, kind of lame. I don't know.
I really hope it's not a
I
trend
get
because
it.
Nintendo box arts have been kind of going downhill recently.
Yeah.
There's some good ones, but yeah.
I think it's just a trend with like simplistic like box art for like Nintendo.
Bro, I'm telling you, the future is gonna be go to the game store. You're gonna buy a game, and they're gonna give you like a plastic bag, and they're gonna put a receipt in that bag, and on that receipt you're gonna have a code, and you're not gonna get a case. Everything will be
Yeah.
digital.
I mean, some companies are doing that.
It's
Yeah.
unfortunate. What do you think of the box arts,
It's
Claire?
a shame. It's just a shame how so many special editions will ship without the game. It'll come with a download.
Actually, the UK is getting a special
the
steel
steel
box,
book,
and it looks
that's
way
right.
better.
Really? I haven't seen that.
Well, let me see if I can find it.
So, what do you think, Claire?
So looking and zooming in on the box art, I realize that this is an art style, but it looks like a freelancer Twitter artist art style, not
That's
so
Pokemon
true.
art style. Because the line art, they used a different type of brush. They used like, instead of an inking tool, to do fine line vector art, they instead used a brush, and it makes it look more traditionally drawn, like as if it was a real painting. But to put it on the box art, it kind of looks fan made. It looks fan made compared to looking at the vector of the logo next to the lines of the legendary Pokemon. It looks like a fan-made amiibo box.
Dang.
Yeah.
So I don't like it, but I don't care too much. I'll just play the game anyway. It is what it is. But I mean, I like the way it looks a lot more on the double pack, where it has the full body, and I think they should have done
with
that,
that.
but it's because of the size of the Switch case, the dimensions of it.
Right.
The double pack is just two 3DS games on top of each other. That's what the box looks like.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just getting used to the new dimensions, and that's all it is.
All right. So I think that just about does it. Was there any final thoughts anyone wanted to get across before we got out of here today?
All the Pokemon are great. Hop is awesome. Sonya's okay.
So anything important anyone else want to say?
Just that I think this game will reinvigorate the passion for Pokemon for a lot of people. Not meaning as in, like, we didn't like it before. What I mean is just people actively playing the game all the way through, instead of just, oh, everybody's going to talk about it on Twitter for a week, and if you don't finish the game within that week, you'll feel left out, and then you kind of just give up on it. I think that this will last.
Last a while.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Chris, was there anything you wanted to say before we get out of here?
Nope. Just Sobble Squad.
Sobble Squad, Sonya Squad, preaching the gospel of Sobble. All right.
It's all about that groovy Grookey.
Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here though. Real quick, guys, plug yourselves. Chris, where can they find you at?
What's up? Find me at Count Christu on Twitter and Count Christu on YouTube. Send me JoJo memes. That's what we were talking about before,
Oh my
Blake.
gosh.
Just send me JoJo memes. That's
This
it.
man has too many judges. Send him Sonya Loots. That's what he really needs. That's what he
Oh,
really
no.
needs.
I
mean,
think he wants
maybe.
Leon, actually.
Oh, okay.
We've been talking about him more,
Okay.
so.
I mean, you can't. A man in uniform can't disagree with
Sydney
that.
either.
But not Hob.
Man
He's
in the
10.
soccer uniform.
No.
No, send that
Sydney-
Magnolia Ludes.
Wait, what's the guy who looks like Buff Satsuki?
Milo?
What's his name?
Milo.
Send me Milo Ludes. That's all I want.
You don't
That's-
want that, Chris. Please
No, that's
don't
what I
send
want.
him that, because if you send
That's
him
what I
that, he's
want.
gonna send me that, and I don't want to see that.
It's all getting forwarded to you.
This is backfiring. Newtype, plug yourself.
I am Revolver-Bunker. You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr with that name.
Okay, all right, cool. And for all the exclusive Leon content, Claire, where can they find you at?
I've only tweeted about him a couple times. But I'm Glossed Garden on everything. YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter are where I am most active.
All right, and of course, you guys are already on a West Town HD if you're watching this video, unless someone else ripped it, to which I tell them, got him. And we're going to get out of here now, guys. This has been your boy West Town HD, Count Christo, Newtype SF, Gloss Garden. We are all piecing up out of here. We'll see you guys the next time there's a Pokemon discussion of some sort. Deuces!
Bruh.
Bye.
Bye.